It's Tuesday, April the 9th, 2024. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne. This is Things You Might Not Have Heard, and you are about to get headlines, 8 of them that were vetted by you from yesterday. You let us know what good news was the good news yesterday, and we're going to give it to you just like that. We have stories that cover the topics of information, politics, current events, and pop culture news, and we'll tell you how the whole vetting process, how you make them conversational, comes up after we give you the headlines. Plus, some fun things for today you do not want to miss. So stay tuned for the full end. The email is the conversation inbox at gmail.com. The website is thisisconversationproject.com. Find more details about us and talk to us anytime you're up to it via those tools as well. Now, we'll explain some of the stories and how they got to where they are. No particular order as they're being presented here. We'll get to the full vetting process in a bit. But let's get into the headlines so we can get things going for this Tuesday. And lots of things happening on the Tuesday. First off, story number one, the biggest story. This was the most engaged story yesterday. Most people put into work in this one. And we think we have the resolution for this one. Now, John Calipari is set to take Arkansas's coaching job in major college basketball shakeup. If you don't follow college basketball, and you probably have in the last couple of weeks because of March Madness, but don't follow the backdrop of the teams that aren't going very far, John Calipari is a pretty big deal. He's been a coach at Kentucky for about 15 years. He was coach at Louisville before that. He is successful. He also is kind of a scumbag, so that happens as well. Arkansas lost their coach last week as he went to go to USC. The USC coach went to another school. It's a big old carousel of weirdness going on right now. And so looks like trying to get out of Kentucky, where he basically built the one and done system. Now that one and done doesn't work so well anymore, he is going to apparently go to Arkansas today, where I am. He's supposed to have a meeting with the team, an announcement this afternoon. So after the eclipse, we have another big Arkansas deal thing with the new culture basketball. Basketball is life here at Arkansas, other than football. And since football's been so weird, basketball is what we've been living off of for a while. John Calipari turning from Kentucky Blue to Arkansas Red will be a definite change of scenery, if you will. And the sports world will go nuts, bonkers, amaze balls when this thing gets pulled off. Hasn't happened yet until they signed a contract. It's just we did have Dana Altman, who was there, did a press conference, and left like hours later. So you never know until he's actually on the court. But looks like John Calipari is leaving Kentucky, coming to Arkansas, and will hopefully get some of the Arkansas fan base back to some semblance of normalcy when they win some games, because the Arkansas fan base is kind of insane. I say that being surrounded by the Arkansas fan base. It's a thing. Big news that also happened over the weekend coming into yesterday. Morgan Wallen was arrested after throwing a chair from rooftop bar. More than just throwing a chair, it's essentially just being a rowdy. Morgan Wallen was arrested in Nashville on felony charges after allegedly throwing a chair from a downtown rooftop bar. This had happened at Wallen's, facing 3 counts of felony reckless endangerment, 1 count of misdemeanor disorderly conduct. That sounds kind of bad. Booked early Monday following the event, the arrest marks another legal issue for Waller, who's dealing with a lot of things from public intoxication to other just kind of being just that guy. Hopefully, we will get some sort of resolution. Let's just say we're praying for Morgan Wallen. We don't wish hate on anyone. We may harp at certain people. We may get sort of pokey at folks. We don't really hate anybody. Well, there's some people who do hate him. That is not true. But I don't particularly care about Morgan Wallen like that at all. But the story was big. You guys engaged in it, so we're hoping that he gets some help fairly soon. Our headline for number 3 this morning. This one reads: Uber, Lyft set to exit from Minneapolis in May. Now, depending on what version you're watching or hearing this from, we had some issues with the title because it was too long for some of the things. You have different headlines in the title. One of them, in one version of them, wherever you're getting this, is about Minneapolis, because we've talked about this before. Because Minneapolis is beginning some new rules on basically city ordinances that make sure that drivers getting paid enough. Uber and Lyft are done on the 1st of May. The 1st of May. They're leaving. They're no longer viable in those in that city. In fact, Minnesota itself is probably going to take a good look at that, because what's happening going there. The future of rideshare services, the future of people doing work, because some people use Lyft and Uber not only as a side gig, a side hustle, a supplement. Some people basically sit around, drive all day, and then go home, and that's what they do for a living. They can do that with that, and the actual work stuff is a real job. This is going to be big because if it works for Minneapolis, i.e., they stop having to pay folks, it may work for other places, i.e., they stop having to pay folks. And the joy, the dream of working for yourself, which you're really not doing, and the lifestyle and the riches for Lyft and Uber, those companies, may all be long gone soon. The next story, number 4 this morning. Actor Jonathan Majors avoids jail time, sentenced to counseling for assaulting ex-girlfriend. Jonathan Majors got off very light, very lucky. So he has to be very thankful for that one. The actor sentenced just to probation after being convicted of assaulting his former girlfriend during a confrontation in New York City. You saw the pictures and the videos. You saw the weirdness. Looks like basically she was chasing him and then the fight happened. Part of the sentence, Majors required to undergo 1 year of domestic violence counseling. The verdict and sentencing come after the Manhattan jury found him guilty of harassing and assaulting his ex-girlfriend. Avoiding jail time has sparked some discussions, and whether it's going to really affect his career, whether because it's just counseling, Marvel could have held back and kept King in the series. Who knows? We shall see how this plays out going forward. Whether he gets more gigs, eventually he will. They always get more gigs eventually. In most cases, they get more gigs, and how he'll go forward. Whether he'll do a full contrite apology, whether he'll just sort of be sulking and mean for a bit. I'm voting on sulking and mean because that's what I would probably do. Next headline. Vince McMahon sells 311 million TKO shares back to company Endeavor. Vince McMahon, no longer the CEO of WWE and no longer on the board of TKO after lots of issues, needs some cash. So he sold $31.2 million worth of his stock as a majority owner of Endeavor, which owns the TKO group, essentially. It's a big influx of cash for TKO and the parent company WWE, and a big chunk of money going into the pockets of Vince McMahon to take care of whatever he's doing. He still owns a good chunk, but now it's just less than 5% of the WWE company, essentially. And as you have seen, as I've talked about, and of course, watching the news and headlines from WrestleMania last weekend, they are hyping very publicly in the actual show a new era under Paul Triple H Levesque, as in Ding Dong, the witch is actually dead this time. We will see how that works out. So far, the new WWE, or the current WWE, is doing a great job of storytelling and keeping the fans happy. We'll see what happens going forward for TKO, screws it up, which companies do that. Let's go on to the story that's number 6 this morning. This is one that I'm going to say I put in there because it looked interesting. Not that I was all that interested, and it looked like people were engaged in it, and you did. Billie Eilish reveals new album won't have singles. This is from Variety. Here's and that was essentially what caught my attention, the actual headline. Billie Eilish is entering a new era with her 3rd album called Hit Me Hard and Soft. Notably, she has revealed that the album will not feature any singles, making a departure for the traditional album promotion strategy. The decision has piqued interest and curiosity among fans and the music industry alike, wondering how the album's content will unfold without the preliminary release of singles. So if you're used to know how things work out, you listen to people on the radio and they put out a song months before the album comes out, and then as the album gets more promotion, you put out another song, back in the days of Casey Kasem when it was really important. Now that a whole album is released on Spotify or whatever service you use, and you can listen to the whole album all at once, and you're paying for it through a subscription, singles aren't really all that needed to hype things up. If you're going to listen to an album, you're going to listen to it. Beyonce had one single out for Country Carter, and then it came out and people listened to it over and over for hours, and then it became big. So the single system is going to be something different, although it means radio airplay will have the impact of not having something to play currently with Billie Eilish, unless they can work out some deals. That's where the real issue will be. This is a headline I pulled, and I did a little quick hot take on this one. It didn't get much in the way of the hot take, but maybe now a little time you'll go back and check it out. Headline for this one reads, Evolutionary psychology study finds biracial individuals are perceived more positively across cultures. And this is one of those black things that I wanted to poke the bear on. I'll get to that in a second. But first, the actual details from the study. Evolutionary, a recent evolutionary psychology study discovered that biracial individuals tend to be perceived more positively than monoracial individuals, across various traits in both the United States and China. Remember that point. This research suggests that the social perception of biracial individuals cross cultural boundaries, challenging previously held beliefs that racial identity and social acceptance. Now, this was done for experiments with Chinese and Caucasian people in the United States and China. So this is one specific race, if you will, one specific culture, if you will, that they looked at. They looked at pictures and saw that the people that had the joint features seemed like they were more trustworthy, seemed like they'd be more successful than people of either or. Here's the thing. It's only people of Chinese descent mixed with Caucasian descent where they had this study. This does not take into account, as I said in the hot take, the sort of just, it may be just thought of just be as an afterthought, but essentially the thought that a biracial person has issues living in both worlds, or I should say either worlds by themselves, because they're not one of enough or not one of enough. Here, this study says for Chinese people mixing with Caucasian people, it ain't so bad. Check out the link for the full study. Check out our hot take for my other take on that, a little more extra there. And communicate with me via comments or email on this subject. I'm going to chat this one a bit. And here's the last story for this morning, number 8. And this is one that when I saw it, it was like, yeah, I got to do this. There's no way I'm getting out of this one for all practical purposes. This is a terrible story. But sometimes I'm a terrible person. Air Force contractor who walked into moving propeller had, quote, inadequate training, unquote, when killed. That's the quote. Here's the story, and bear with me, it isn't a good one. Stephanie Cosme, a 32-year-old Air Force contractor and test engineer, tragically died on September 7th after inadvertently walking into a moving propeller on a Part MQ-98 Reaper drone at Gray Boot Field Station. Reports indicate that she was looking down at a device when the air incident occurred, leading to fatal injuries. The incident has highlighted concerns regarding safety protocols and situational awareness in operations environments, i.e. the not properly trained thing, because she was, walking towards a moving propeller, walking towards the aircraft that was in operation, even on the ground, and not paying attention. And so the Air Force is blaming the contractor for not paying attention, as opposed to the plane for doing the damage. And this is akin to you walking down the street on your phone or texting while driving, if you will, because you're distracting and not paying attention to the actual dangers out there in front of you. Use this as a warning. This is not meant to be a real kicker. This is meant to be essentially a interesting story. You may not have heard this in mainstream media, and one to make you think for a bit about paying more attention to what you are actually doing. Apologies, errors, and omissions for today. Quickly, we're going to go to the story that I had fairly well ranked. It actually came up the third story of the day from yesterday's engagement with the headline, Curb Your Enthusiasm finale. Larry David's 12-season neurosis ends with Seinfeld do-over. I'm not going to go into it, although check out the link and you'll see the spoiler alert in the link of the story. If you remember what happened in Seinfeld, the 4 cast members of Seinfeld were all arrested for not helping out a person who was being assaulted on the street, I believe. They were just basically filming on their cameras and just kind of joking about it. And so they brought in every single person from the past years of the show to basically say they're terrible people, and the judge didn't like them and sent them all to jail. Something similar happens and then doesn't. It's a fix. It's a callback to the Seinfeld episode on how they could have fixed it. And check it out if you're not a big fan of Curb Your Enthusiasm, but a fan of Seinfeld. Get the spoilers and go with that one. Otherwise, get caught up. This is the last season. It's a big deal. Get caught up right now. Let's go to our teaser story for the day. We call this a teaser story because this is a story we are teasing that we could talk about tomorrow if you deem it worthy by your engagement. This is where I explain how you tell us what to talk about, the engagement scores, if you will. Engagement just means literally how you engage in the story. And all you need to do to engage in the story is follow us on Facebook and X. Or Twitter. We call it Twitter. We're going to do X today because maybe Elon is watching. Elon is watching us. Twitter.com or X.com/th_conversation. And this is a conversationprod.com at Facebook. Those are our pages. When you go to check your regular feeds, see what we're up to. Every 50 minutes or so, we're posting news stories from various sources. This one coming from AP. And this one here, headline reads, Missouri governor denies clemency for man scheduled for execution on Tuesday. We suspect, since Tuesday is today, we'll be talking possibly about if this one is engaging, the updated actual execution of the man tonight or whether something changes pace. But it's only if this is deemed worthy. We gave you 8 stories from the top 15 stories of 30 plus that were posted in the last 30 hours. We will give you tomorrow 8 more stories of the top 15 stories of 30 plus stories in the last 30 hours. So if you engage this one as an engaging story, this headline, just go to the feeds and engage in it. Click the like button, click the little mean face button, click a heart, if you will. Click whatever you want to, share it, engage in it. The higher the engagement score you get, literally, the more people that actually touch it, the more chance we have of talking about it tomorrow. We'll pick, like I said, 8 top 15 stories to give to you in the headlines here, plus, a bonus, 9. The apologies is a bonus one, a small hit there, and get you those stories tomorrow. But you have to do this. Go to our feeds and engage, just like Picard says, engage. That show almost wrapping up the season as well. Spotlight sponsor for this morning is I Heart RVing. As we're getting into spring, although by the calendar it says the spring, it may not feel quite that way. Now maybe the time you're thinking about getting outdoors for the spring and the summer and maybe even the fall. Now maybe be thinking about, now that basketball is done, maybe you are a baseball fan, you want to see those college baseball games on the road, or maybe you're prepping for the big football season coming up. That's 12 weeks in a row going out and about. Maybe that is time for you to get into on that one today. Guess what? RVs can help you out there. Check out our website. This is theconversationproject.com/RV to get in with I Heart RVing. RVs are a thing. They can be a bit of a hassle, can be a bit of work. So if you go to our website and click the link for our affiliate link to I Heart RVing, they can get you in on the RV world and get you caught up as quickly as possible. You can learn about RVing, learn about different parts, learn how to get your hands on an RV, whether you want to buy, lease, or borrow. They can help you out with all the things RVing can have for you. So check it out today and prep yourself for a summer or a fall or a spring or even another winter of living it out, living your life in the RV. Check it out today. Go to this. It's theconversationproject.com/RV. This is an affiliate link. So if you click the link and you purchase something via the link, we get a small commission for you getting into the love of the RVing. Conversation Project lives online at this is conversationproject.com. We are proud to give you this show every single weekday morning, Monday through Friday. As I'd say to people who are our partners, this sometimes is the only win I get a day because things are pretty dire in some cases. So presenting this thing to you, one, because my want to do more better news because I think news coverage is not so great right now. And 2, because the work I put into it and the hopefully quality product you're getting, this is something out there. I'm asking for your help. I'm literally asking for your help every time I do this. Every time I talk about the feeds and the email address, which I need you to go to, the feeds help us get the stories picked, and the emails lets us know what to do in conjunction. I'm asking that one. I ask about sponsors. So if you go to a sponsors page online and check out any of our sponsors and buy from them, we get a small commission back. I'm really asking today about the partnerships page. We have, and we'll spotlight some more tomorrow, but we have partners out there, people who are our subscription. We're using Buy Me a Coffee and not Patreon like many others, but this is still the same deal for people who are helping us financially and helping us more or less as a board of directors. If you become a partner, you get a say. Even if you just pay at the $1 level, you get a bigger say in what's going on back here and get to understand how things are going. I listen to you first and profusely, if you will. So if you have the means and you deem us worthy or just want to really boss me around, go to our website. This is theconversationproject.com. Click on the partnerships page and let me know what's going on. Today is Tuesday as well, so we also have $2 Holler Tuesday, and that's just a way to get a quick influx of shout outs and cash. If you want to shout out this Friday, go to your Venmo, go to your Cash App, send me $2 and your shout out. J, letter J, Cleveland like the city, Payne, just like you see when it pops up in the Chiron. J Cleveland Payne is my name. Send me $2 and your actual shout out. We'll put it in there. We'll vet it. We'll make sure it's nothing weird. Make sure we're not calling for the start of the riot or anything that we are triggering a civil war with some sort of code out there. But whatever you want to shout out, whoever you want to give some love to, we'll do that because we're not quite Casey Kasem. But we'll do our best for you. $2 a holler. Today is the day. Venmo or Cash App me $2 to J Cleveland Payne. And Friday morning and on the weekend shows as well, we'll shout you out as best as we can. Now let's get into the fun stuff. Fun stuff happens every single weekday morning. We always begin it with birthdays. Birthday wish going out today to Keisha Knight Pullman. Now the reason why I have no idea what you saw in your promo title for the video or the podcast or the emails or whatnot was because the stories we wanted to tease were all too long. And we had to shorten them and move them around because we had to fit in Keisha Knight Pullman. Keisha Knight Pullman is getting the love today, so she has got it. There you go. Rudy, turning 45 years old on the day. Doesn't it make you feel a little long in the tooth that little old Rudy from the Cosby Show, the youngest child in the show until they replaced her with Raven Simone as the youngest step grandchild to be the cute person because once you get 15, you're no longer cute. Keisha Knight Pullman, who was doing a lot of things, she's doing a lot of things actually in front of the camera that you may not see, but she's become a very big person in the world of producing, the world of making things happen, the world of financing for other projects. So don't think that she's out on a limb not doing anything. She's fairly well taken care of. Also wishes going out to Kristen Stewart, who's 35 years old today, and Dennis Quaid, who we would normally give the love to because he's the old head at 70, but it's about my generation, Gen X, giving the love. I'm giving the love to who's not a Gen Xer. Actually, I guess she's a millennial. Keisha Knight Pullman turning 45 on the day. Actually, she might be. I mean, you have to check the score. She might actually be in Gen X on the tail end. We give a history lesson going out to the year 1867. What happened that year? Passing by a single vote, the United States Senate ratified a treaty with Russia for the purchase of Alaska. Our whole I can see Russia from a house started by buying the land to put a house there in 1867, or at least ratifying the treaty to hook up that one. Wonder how our relations are going now. Wonder how that whole sale went and things going, how we're doing with that one right now. I'm curious about that. No need to be curious. Here's a new word for you to learn today: malevolent. Malevolent, and the word means defined as having or exerting a malignant influence. I think defined was not supposed to be there, but basically not so great, malevolent, bad, evil, if you will. More about big words like this at the Big Word Project. Go to thebigwordproject.com and get in on that. And also subscribe to that newsletter to get this word into your email as a link with 3 different uses in the sentence, plus more things to come from the Big Word Project. Today, we're celebrating Appomattox Day. On this day, April 9th, the end of the Civil War basically happened. The 4 years of the Civil War wrapped up on April 9th, 1885, when General Robert E. Lee and Confederate Army General, the Northern Virginia Army, surrendered to Lieutenant General Ulysses S. Grant and the soldiers of the Union Army on the 7th. So 2 days ago. But 2 days later, they actually commemorated the actual surrender. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got that backwards. Sorry about that. That's why I misread it. So of course, the 7th was the day of the very worst battle they had, the end of the Battle of Sailor's Creek, and where Grant actually asked for the surrender, and 2 days later, the surrender was happened at Appomattox. There's the proper story. Apologies for that. Bad writing from the robot editor, although bad reading from the actual human reader, I guess, as well. So we tend to sort of scoff at we do scoff at the remembrance of various Confederate type holidays, Confederate type memorials and things like that. This is one that's the actual ending of the Civil War happening on this day. We commemorate Appomattox Day, the surrender from the Confederates to the Union on April the 9th, 1885. This whole thing, I'm sorry, this robot editor really screwed that one up. Yeah, that's not right. Let's move on. Let's be done. It's Appomattox Day anyway. The years are wrong, and generally did not surrender in 1985 because then I would have been in the 5th grade and I would have remembered this one. This one would have been a big one. Let's get out of here with the normals. I am Jay Cleveland Payne. This has been Things You Might Have Heard. Thank you so much for being a part of the shows we have, and the short shows we have. Check out our website, thisisconversationproject.com, and find out more details about what we do every single day. Follow us in the feed so we can get the stories you need to. Consider being a partner. We could use the help of this. This thing takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, but we get good reviews from you guys. We just aren't growing as large as we would like to. So if something can be done, you can email me for free and tell me to work on it. And I'll do that. If you want to actually put some grease, get your hands dirty, become a partner. Let's get this thing done. Stay limber, stay hydrated, stay on task for all the grand things you are here to do on this earth. Big day today. Lots of big days going forward. Have a big day today. Have a great day today. Love you, mean it. Let's get out of here on a very positive note. And just join us again tomorrow for a Wednesday edition and some more things. Maybe you've heard them, but just in case, we'll drop some things you might not have heard so you can get your day started.